Innovation Experience Real Estate Institute is a private venture that envisioned of the constitute of the gateway of the real estate professionals of the horizon to the most relevant, accurate, and update real estate knowledge. Welcome.
Hi, can you hear me? Yeah. Assalamu alaikum. So let's just wait 2 minutes.
You can start.
All right, so let me first introduce myself. My name is Amr Ghyada. I'm a construction engineer with a decade of experience in construction, and most of my experience had been in mega projects. And the good thing about mega projects that it adopts technology. So referring to our subject today is about augmented reality and artificial intelligence in construction. So I would like first to talk a little bit about the construction industry in general. So when we talk about construction, we need to understand why construction is very important and why do we need to involve technology and advanced technology in construction. So construction is one of the biggest drivers of economy all over the world. When you talk about any country all over the world, construction is one of the biggest drivers. It takes a huge share of the GDP, it employs a lot of people. So when you talk about employment opportunities, there's the direct employment, such as construction workers, engineers, designers, drivers, and so on. And we talk about indirect, because when you talk about a construction project, talk about a huge construction projects. You have the labor camps, so you need people to cook for these labors. You need people to do laundry. You need cleaners. Then you need car drivers, you need security, you need a monitoring system. So when we talk about employment for construction, it's a big factor. Then third, you have the infrastructure. So for enable to have a good infrastructure like sewage systems, electricity, communication systems, internet, all of that need construction in order to be functional, in order to have it. You need roads, you need bridges. Then you have the environmental impact. So the size of the construction industry is a huge factor in the environmental impacts. When you talk about construction, you talk about woods, you talk about water consumption, you talk about pollution, you talk about emissions. And then when we need to talk about technology and innovation and its role in the construction, we are talking about one of the biggest drivers in the economy. So the idea of adopting a technology in one of the biggest industries of the technology is a pivotal point. So, and most important is without construction, we don't have housing, we don't have shelter. You know, in order to have all of these houses, either a tower or a villa or a townhouse, this all need to be construction. And finally, when a city on the biggest level think about urbanization development, when you need to expand a city, you need the construction to be a functional industry. You need to be efficient in order to have a proper urbanization development. However, the construction industry, due to its size and complexity, have a lot of challenges that faces it. So first, cost overruns. More than 30% of construction projects run on over cost. They do not finish in the same cost that they started in. And secondly, we have the project delays. Most of the construction projects all over the world are delayed. You can never see a construction project that finishes on time. Unfortunately, we are always delayed. Then you have the safety concern. When you talk about construction, you have equipment, you have a lot of people working, you have workers. So there is always a safety concern. And safety is very critical because it affects people's lives. If someone got forbid injured or died, we lost that person. You have a loss of life that you can never get back. Then you have a productivity gaps. Unfortunately, in the construction industry, we have a very low productivity. We always waste resources. We always waste material. We have a lot of people working. Then again, we have the environmental impact. When we talk about construction, you have a lot of huge equipment working that all have a great carbon emission. You use a lot of material. You have a huge waste. And then let's talk about quality control. So one thing about construction industry that it's a scattered project. So when we think about one building, for example, you have the material, you have the workers, you have the equipment, you have the indoor, the outdoor, the structure, the finishing. So there is a lot of parts and issues that you need to control at the same time. So the quality control is a big challenge for the construction industry in general. And another concern and challenge regarding construction industry is technology adoption. Unfortunately, the construction is still a cowboy industry. So the construction is the second to last industry worldwide to adopt any technology. right after farming. So in construction, we do not adopt technology easily. We take a lot of time until we adopt any technology. And finally, we have the sustainability demands. So if we continue to do construction in the way we do it right now, it's not going to be a sustainable thing. We are doing the construction currently in a very difficult manner. So how augmented reality can help construction? But first, what is augmented reality? What does the word augmented mean? So when we say augmented, we mean extended, expanded. So we emphasize things with augmented reality technology. Usually when we talk about augmented reality or virtual reality, people think directly about the Googles, is to see myself on Mars or on the moon. But that's not only what is this technology is about. It actually, even in a rigid industry such as construction, it can have a huge impact. So first, we can have a real-time visualization. So the thing about construction is start with a drawing. It's a start with a drawing on a paper. And this drawing sometimes is realistic. It can be applied on the land, and sometimes it's very difficult. And the thing is, the people who design one building or one project is not the same people who apply this project on the site. So in order to make that a more efficient process, we can use such technology such as augmented reality to make all the people who will be involved in this project that can have a better visualization. So the second thing is enhanced collaboration. As I said, sometimes designers take a leap of faith. They design something in a building, but it's not actually applicable, or it's extremely applicable to be built on the real world. So in order to do that, in order to have better collaboration between all of these different people, you can use technology such as augmented reality. It can make life so much easier. Improve safety and quality. So when we talk about construction project, again, it's a scattered industry. So if we think about one building, you have the structure, then you have the finishing, then you have the outdoor and landscaping, then you have the wall that will surround this building, and then you have cranes and machines and workers inside. And to control all of that at one time is a very, very challenging process. So when you have a technology such as augmented reality, you can start from the beginning to imagine the site, to visualize the site, how it's going to be, and then you can have a better safety precautions and the quality control precautions. Efficiency gains, when you have a better visualization, when you have a better understanding of the upcoming project, you can design your resources accordingly, so you will have a better efficiency. So what type of applications do we have for augmented reality in construction? Currently, we are using it first for virtual site walkthroughs. So through the life cycle of the project, a lot of people want to visit the site. Not only the construction engineer who's monitoring the site, there is a lot of people. For example, I'm building my own house. I have a construction company building the house. But from time to time, I want to visit. I want to see what is happening. However, visiting a construction site is a safety concern. It's difficult, especially if you are not from the construction world. You need to wear special shoes. You will go out dirty and full of sand of the site. But using technologies such as augmented reality, you can visit the actual site from your place, just using the goggles, and you can see every step all of the way. So second, BIM integration. BIM, in short words, is a technology, is a software, it's a project information modeling that connects all the people that works in one project. So you have the designer, you have the third party, you have the contractor, you have the people who will hand over the building. And all of these people usually either communicate through emails or communicate through phone calls and so on. So when you have a technology such as AR, it will give you a better integration for all of these people because they are all seeing the same thing. So equipment operation. We have a lot of equipment getting operated during the construction project. And many of these equipment, such as cranes and so on, can be operated from remotely, can be operated from far. However, using the normal technologies such as cameras will make it a little bit challenging and can provide a safety concern. AR can solve this issue for us. And that's actually the most important point, which is training and onboarding. If you are able to train all the people on the actual situation of the site, how it's going to be using a technology such AR, you will have a people with better understanding of the project. The people is not only expecting what they are going to see, they already saw that. They know what they are going to see. So the benefits of augmented reality for the construction are a lot. First, as we said, you have a better visualization. You are not only seeing a 2D or a computer drawing of a building. You can, as this picture, you can see the actual building. You can go through it. You can take a tour. You have a reduction in error because of the better visualization. You have improved collaboration, as we said, between all the different parties of the project. You have efficiency gains, and you have safety enhancement because you can train the people and you can have a better expectation of what's going on. And of course, a better quality control. So the second concept I want to talk about is the artificial intelligence for the construction. So we hear these two letters, AI, artificial intelligence, we hear it a lot. But what is exactly artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence basically is to get a computer to do something that usually need a human to think about it and take the decision. It's either a task of analyzing information or take a decision or moving such an equipment that usually take a person, someone to sit on the laptop and do that, is to make a computer do it for me. So one of the first concepts that we do is machine learning. Machine learning is basically when you feed a computer algorithm a lot of data that understands what are you doing currently. So you feed it data that you did this in this building, you did this in the second building, you did that in the third building, and then the algorithm understands your pattern, understands what you do step by step, and can then do it for you, which will make the life easier. Secondly is data analysis. So one thing about the construction industry that it's a data-intensive industry. So from the beginning, you have the design drawing, you have the material receipts, you have the cost, you have the people, you have the handover documents, you have between the designer and the contractor and the third party and the people who will use the building. There is a huge amount of data that need to be processed manually. So with artificial intelligence, all of this data can be automated and can be analyzed automatically, which usually takes a lot of workforce. And the thing is, when you are using human beings, when you are using people to process information, you have a high error percentage because people do mistakes. Sometimes it's typing mistakes, sometimes it's analyzing mistakes, and so on. So automation, of course, there is a lot of equipment that do the same movement every day, every time. However, it also still needs a person to operate that equipment. Now, if you can teach an algorithm, if you can teach a computer to operate that equipment safely, you can save this man hours and put it in another place to be used. Predictive analytics. Predictive analytics is when you have a pattern, when you do the same activity again and again. So let's take, for example, I'm living in Dubai. Dubai is a very hot city, and every year in the summer, my AC gets broken. So then I need to do maintenance for my AC unit. I need to clean the filters. I need to fill the gas again. So when you have a predictive analytics, when you feed this information to a certain computer algorithm, and then 2 months before the summer, it can tell you, hi, it's a good time now to do the maintenance for your AC unit because the hot season is coming on and you need to be ready. And natural language processing is the final thing that we are going to talk about. Natural language processing is basically when the computer can read the words people write in their data entries. So the thing is, when you have too many people doing the same work, people use their different language. So if I want to say that this piece is broken, I may say broken. This gentleman may say it's damaged. This lady may say it's defective. And people use different words. And this makes data analysis more difficult. However, NLP or natural language processing is where the computer is intelligent enough to understand that these people using different synonyms, they still mean the same thing. Then it can start categorizing and cataloging the data in certain catalogs that help you make better data cataloging, better data understanding. So how is artificial intelligence currently is applied in the construction industry? How we are using the artificial intelligence in the construction industry currently. So first we are using the predictive maintenance, such as the example that I gave about the AC. So usually the maintenance goes in a pattern, goes in a loop. So there is some equipment that get broken every 2 years or need a maintenance every 2 years regularly. So when you feed this information to an artificial intelligence algorithm, it can give you an indication, it can give you warnings that this is a good time to do your maintenance. Secondly, it does risk analysis. So when you feed the historical information to an AI algorithm, when you say that previously in 2017, for example, when we did this accident happened, or when we did this project got delayed, or we lost money here, or we had this issue, Then it start analyzing this information and start making connections between the cause and effect. And when you have this, it start gives you warning how you can avoid these problems from happening in future. Resources optimization, of course, because when the algorithm understands all of this data and you feed it enough data, it can tell you that there in that project you lost money because you had this much of extra people that you did not need, or you had this much of wasted material that ended up after a project not being used. So it's better to buy this amount of material. A project management, of course, as we said, it can control and categorize the information and the communications. Cost estimation also, because it analyzes the data better than the people do. So let's consider it like this. If you want the normal people to do what artificial intelligence does, you need 10 people to do what one algorithm with one engineer can do. So when you say cost estimation and data analysis, the thing is it does not analyze the data better than people, it's analyze it more efficiently. So in order to have the same data analysis from people, you need a huge amount of people to do the work. And of course, quality and safety control, because you have an automated analysis of the information, so it can give you the points where it can tell you where you can go wrong and how to avoid it exactly. And we will come to a live example in a minute. So let's say how can we integrate these two technology, the augmented reality and artificial intelligence together to have a better technology for the construction. So the first thing is real-time data fusion. So usually the practice in the construction that the data is transferred to the office, the data is entered after the action is finished on site. So we have built this floor, we take all the information, what accidents, how much it cost us, how many people did we use, and we enter this information. However, as we said, using the AR, using the augmented reality, you can have real-time information from the site, and the AI will do a real-time analysis of this information. So the response time, you can be more proactive than reactive on the site. The second thing is enhanced decision making, because as we said, you have a real-time information and real-time analysis from the site. So your decision can be based on the actual information now. You have safety augmentation. So augmentation is basically expanding. It's to having a wider perspective. So when you have a real visualization from the site, you can have a better control for the safety and the quality all over the site. Collaboration enhancement, because you have an automated analysis of the information, you have a real visualization from the site, so all the people can be on one page very easily using this type of technology. And of course, you will have an improved efficiency. So what are the challenges and concerns regarding using these type of technologies in an industry such as a construction industry? First, the cost of implementation. So a lot of these technologies and these equipments until today for the construction purposes are still not cheap. And one of the problems in the construction industry that it's a very competitive industry. So usually they run on a very thin profit margin. So you need a very strong company, a very big company that are willing to invest in such technology. The second thing is data security and the privacy. Usually, this type of softwares, this type of technologies are operated by a third party. So it's very rare to find a construction company or a construction developer that have his own team that works on AI or an augmented reality. So usually they use a third party, they use an external company. And when you use an external company, this means this external company will have your data. It will have data from your project. And a lot of companies don't want to share the kind of data. And the second thing is the biggest client for construction is the government, anywhere in the whole world. They have the road projects, schools, hospitals, and so on. And when you talk about government projects, sharing data is a big issue. You need a lot of permits, you need a lot of approvals. So complexity of integration is because of how many people are involved. You have the owner of the project or the client, then you have the third party, you have the designer, you have the contractor, you have the people who will do the handover. So you need to get all of these people on board in order to use the technology efficiently. Skill gaps, that's actually a very unique problem for the construction. So if you look for any employment ad for the construction, you will say, we are looking for a project manager with 25 years of experience. So when you talk about someone with 25 years of experience, usually you are not talking about a 35 years old guy. You are talking about 55 or 60 years old person. And not all of these people are open-minded or willing to learn about new technologies such as AR and AI and this kind of these technologies. So you need to train the people how to use this kind of technologies. Regularity hurdles, as we said, when you are talking about construction, you are talking usually about government projects. And when you come to government projects, you need a lot of approvals, you need a lot of permits in order to use new technology. So we are going to talk about one case study, which is a software that I have personally developed. It's called BroScan. So BroScan is basically, so communication in the construction industry is very complicated. There is a lot of people that need to be communicated at the same time to process a lot of information. And when we talk about safety and equality, it's the more you have information from the site, the better control you have on the site. So this is, let me see if this laser is working. This pyramid is developed by a construction scientist called Henrik, and it's suggesting that for every 300,000 small problems we solve on site, we have a better chance to avoid one fatality. So the more small problems you have on site, the better chance you have to avoid a fatality. However, solving all of these small problems on site is a very challenging subject. It's not easy to collect all of this information. So currently in the construction industry, people collect the information from site in two ways. Either they will, if someone see a problem like a cable cut on the site, either he will take a picture, send it by WhatsApp to the person who need to solve the problem, or he will take a picture and go back to office and send it officially by email. So the problem with the first method by using WhatsApp, for example, that there is no official record of this incident. And I cannot come to it, I cannot track it. If I come to it after 2-3 months, I cannot find this conversation. And finally, there is no data entry, there is no analysis for the data. So I don't have database. It's all conversation, WhatsApp conversation. He sends a picture, I send a picture, I reply to him on WhatsApp. And if I want for every small problem to go back to the office and send this issue officially with the email, it's consuming a lot of time. It's not efficient at all. So what we did to solve it in BroScan, we have, and to make it even bigger when you use such messengers like WhatsApp and so on, the management doesn't know anything about what is happening on site. They only know what happens in the official communications, what goes in the email, and the manager is CC'd on it. And this makes what we call ignorance iceberg. So the management is only informed about almost 20% of what's actually happening on site. So in order to solve all of these problems on site, what we did, we have integrated a mobile application with a web database. So the mobile application is basically used on site by the site team. And instead of communicating on WhatsApp or any other messaging platform, they can communicate on BroScan. At the same time, all of these information are going to the web database, so the management can see it. And all the data is analyzed by an artificial intelligence algorithm that do natural language processing, and it does big data analytics, and it will present the information for the management in a shape of charts and graphs that enable the management to understand exactly what is happening on site. So basically, we have connected the person who see the problem on site with the person who need to take the action about the problem on the site, directly a real-time communication, while at the same time all the information is processed by artificial intelligence without the need for someone sitting on an Excel sheet, entering the data one by one, then charting it in drafts and charts and so on. So the advantages of a BroScan that the process is automated, it requires much less workforce than the traditional methods. It's time efficient because, when we are using phones, we are using real-time communication. It gives the person who need to take the action an instant reaction, so he can solve the problem in real time, directly. A timely response, and the data processing is all happening by artificial intelligence. So our first experience was in the world's largest solar plant in Mohammed bin Rashid Solar Park. We have tried the BroScan, and the results were amazing. So the number of observed problem on site had increased by 200%. So what we did actually, how did we do the proof of concept? We took two areas from the site, two similar areas, okay, where one, we keep the people using the same methods they are using by WhatsApp or mails, and the other area is using our software, BroScan. And we have compared the result. So the area that was using BroScan have raised 200% more problems than the other area. And that doesn't mean these problems are not available in the other area. It just means that people are not reporting them officially, because either they are solving the problem directly or reporting it on WhatsApp. And the second good factor, the clicker is not working. Excuse me? The clicker is not working. Just to switch to the second slide, please. Yeah, now it's changed. Now it's changed. Yeah. So the second factor is how many problems we are closing. So it's not enough to observe to see that I have this many problems on site. We need to also to monitor how many of these problems we are closing. So the area that was using the traditional methods, such WhatsApp or emails or something, were closing on average 18% of the problems. However, the area that was using ProScan closed 48% of the problems. And again, that doesn't mean the second area is not closing the problems. It just means that it's taking much more time to close the problem, or the closeout is not recorded officially. Because again, with ProScan, you are using a mobile application. People from their site, from their location, they can take the action very easily. The final factor that we took in consideration in the comparison was how many days it takes to close the problem. So we compared. So I opened the problem at the first of the month. When did we close the problem? How many days it took? So the area that was using the traditional system was in average closing the problem in 58 days, almost 2 months. The area that was using ProScan, the average was 16 days. So the drop was almost 300%. And again, that doesn't mean that these people are not working there. It just means that when you send the problem by email, he will see it the second day on his mail. He will take action on site. It will take 3-4 days. Then he will take a picture, go back to his office, send a mail, and the person who originally opened the problem will see his email the second day, and he will confirm the action after 2-3 days. So the process of the traditional system is not efficient. It doesn't mean that the people on site are not efficient. They are taking the action immediately. It's just the recording is not efficient. And that is the problem that we solved with the ProScan. And yeah, so that was one case study from construction management. Actually, ProScan is a registered software here in UAE. We have the intellectual property for it. And if anybody have any questions. You have any questions?
Shy for any questions. Did you finish?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your contribution.
You're welcome. Thank you.